Welcome to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Roling. Do you believe you are capable of choosing your future? Sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, for you to believe in yourself. If you find yourself continuing to say, someday I will take better care of myself, only to continue living the same day over and over and over again, then you, my friend, are in the right place. I am your biggest cheerleader, inspiring you to become you on purpose and with intention. Are you ready to create a life you love? I'm excited to share with you some big ideas that you can use today to inspire, impact, and influence your life and everyone in it. The Becoming You show starts now. Hello. How are you? How was your week? Was it intentional? Was it well planned? Did you get everything that you hoped to get done? Or did it feel overwhelming? Did it feel frantic? I know sometimes when we have a holiday weekend like we just did, we feel crammed at the front end and scrambling on the back end. And I found myself in this place this past weekend, which is why it inspired me to talk about this topic today on the show. Being busy. I think sometimes when we think about being busy, we wear it like a badge of honor. It means that we have a lot going on in our life. It means we have lots to do, lots of people to take care of, lots of errands to run, lots of tasks to cross off. And if we're not careful, we will miss out on the things that matter in a desperate attempt to check off boxes and cross off tasks. As an enneagram number 3, high achiever, I know a lot about this topic. A lot of people refer to being busy in a positive way. They think it's productive, that it's important, that it's disciplined, that it's successful, that it means that you're accomplished, high achieving. And all of these things seem kind and nice and complimentary from the outside in, but inside out, busy doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel productive or efficient. I don't generally create my best work from busy. I think busy actually feels overwhelming and unconscious and unorganized and unintentional. It feels rushed. So regardless of how you define busy, I want to invite you to break up with it with me today. I no longer want to be busy. I want to be intentionally not busy. I want to be conscious about how I spend my time and making sure that it is on what matters. So I'm going to share with you 3 ideas on how we're going to break up with busy today for good. The first idea comes from one of my very favorite personal development topics, and that is the one on self-care. Now, I'm sure you're like, what does self-care have to do with busy? Hold on, follow me for just a sec. Self-care, like self-love, is not selfish. I think sometimes people think it is. I think it's selfish to not. And if we're not practicing self-care daily, you will deplete yourself. And then everything will be harder. It will be more overwhelming. It will be more challenging. It will be more busy. And when you are operating from these emotions like overwhelm and frustration, you will lose access to problem solving. You will lose access to that creative part of your brain that fires when you're clear. You'll be less engaged. You'll be less inspired. The second idea is unintentional. We become busy when we are not conscious of how we are designing our days, when we are not mindful of our minutes or of what is important. And we live day to day doing the same things that we've always done and wonder why we stay busy. When we go unconscious throughout our day, we fail to use the super smart part of our brain. We are not using it the way that I'm going to teach you today. And third, people pleasing. Again, I know you're like, what? What does people pleasing have to do with being busy? I'm going to tell you. Who are my people pleasers out there? People pleasing, I think, is the number one reason we end up with too many things on our calendar. We end up being busy as a state instead of being peace as a state. This thought about being busy, it's important for us to understand that this thought of being busy gives us this subsequent feeling of being and feeling busy, which is a result of these three things: not practicing self-care, not being conscious, and not saying no. So let me walk you through each one of these. So many people offer to me that they're just too busy for self-care, or they just don't have time for it, as if busy was situational. Busy is not situational. Busy is a thought. Busy doesn't happen outside of you. It happens inside of you. And self-care, it's not soft and fluffy. And it's not all about bubble baths and pedicures, although it can be. It is so much more than that. Self-care means that you have needs. And as adults, my friends, our needs don't go away. And we are capable of meeting them, but do we? Our needs become more complicated as we get older. And most adults, women especially, are doing less to meet their needs. We give so much time and attention and energy, all of our resources, in meeting our kids' needs, our aging parents' needs, our colleagues, our clients, our patients' needs. But are we meeting our own? Think about it this way. When you get groceries, who are you buying for? When you are thinking about your clothing, are you just buying clothes for you or just for your kids? When you think about the sports and the activities and the extracurriculars and school events, is it out of proportion? How much time are you giving to your own growth, to your own development? What do you do to develop confidence, to develop social skills, to develop relationship skills? Friends, we are not done having needs. As long as we are trying to make personal development a way of life, a way of being, and if you're listening to this, you are, our needs are just untapped. Like, there are so many more things that we could be affording ourselves to better our life and to our future. And in doing that, the healthier you are, the more your needs are met, the better you are at doing more and serving all of the people in your life. We have the capacity to achieve 10 times the amount of things that we are doing already. And the healthier we are, physically, mentally, emotionally, the better we take care of us, the more access we have to, like I said before, problem solving, that creative part of our being. If you think about sleep alone, it is super hard to get things done when we are tired and depleted. Self-care is fuel for your soul, and it has to be a priority. So what does that even mean? What do you do that is part of your self-care routine? If you know me and if you've listened to my podcast, you know I spend a lot of time on self-care. I do. I know I have to in order to give back to you all and to give back to my family and to my friends and to my clients and to my husband. And we're all wired differently. The things that might recharge me might not recharge you. We all have different recharge buttons, if you will. For some of us, we need more time with friends. For others, we need more time alone. Some of us need more movement. Others need less. We actually need to rest more and slow down a bit. But what will recharge you? Do you have a self-care protocol? Do you have a self-care routine? Do you have a self-care ritual when you start to feel busy, when you start to feel overwhelmed? Maybe it's as simple as a walk. Maybe it's simple as getting a massage. Maybe it's taking a bath. Maybe it's doing some journaling. It doesn't matter what it is. It only matters that you practice it and you have routines and systems and strategies around it. I say this all the time, you guys, but we take care of what matters. Do you matter? And if you've been ignoring you, if you've not asked yourself what you want lately, could you take a minute to reaffirm your mattering and put your want into the universe to manifest? I am amazed, simply amazed at how many times I ask my clients what they want, and they look at me dumbfounded, as if they haven't really thought about it for some time. Actually, they can't even remember the last time they thought about what they actually wanted. It was probably right after getting married and having kids and getting a job. Why? Why have we stopped wanting for our life? I believe it's because we have not answered the "do I matter" question in a way that is an emphatic, "oh, yes, I do." And then followed up with, "and here is why. And this is how I take care of me daily," not just every once in a while on vacation. Speaking of vacation, how much of your prefrontal cortex are you using each day? How intentional are you about your day, your plans, your vacations, your experiences? Again, I'm always amazed when people offer to me that they don't have a calendar, or if not a calendar, a plan, or a daily list, or a weekly, monthly, yearly goals checklist. It's almost as baffling as those people that don't like their birthday. And yes, I know there are some of you out there. I know, right? I love my birthday, as a side note. And so when people tell me they don't love their birthday, they don't celebrate their birthday, I just am dumbfounded by it. But back to a plan. I don't need you to have this systematized, highly organized calendar. But if you, I want you to consider this. If you feel like you go from fire to fire, juggling to too many balls, frantic, overwhelmed, and panicked, and you don't have a planner or a list of some sort, you might think about getting one. And I think what happens is we all fall on a spectrum. And again, I get pushback a lot on the planner from people that want to be spontaneous. They want to go with the flow. And then I have the type A, very structured, pre-planned, no room for any flexibility, folks. And here's the problem with anything too extreme. And you know, I'm always talking about the middle. The middle here is something in between pre-planned and over-structured and spontaneous and unorganized. The former creates rigidity problems and we crack. The latter, we tend to be too loose and be inefficient, and things fall through the crack. Somewhere in the middle is the sweet spot where we plan with flexibility and with curiosity. So if you haven't thought about it, what in your life needs to be planned? This is the way I set up my planner. I personally don't feel like I have to plan everything out. If it is a routine, if it is a habit, I don't need to plan it out. That's the beautiful thing about creating habits, because once they're a habit, they're automatic, they're unconscious, right? I don't plan my workouts. I don't plan brushing my teeth. I don't plan my meditation practices. I don't plan my morning. I don't plan my day end. I don't plan my night routines. They don't need planned. They are automatic. They're unconscious. But anything that's not habitual or something that is not frequent or consistent needs to be planned. Things that are scheduled, like appointments and games and clients and masterminds and my becoming calls, they all go on my schedule. And I do this every week. I know that there are things that are routine. dinner, taking kids to school, our nightly tuck-ins, like all of my routines, they don't go on my planner, but everything else needs to get planned. And I like to think about it in categories by lists. And I write out lists, right? I have a list that I write down right in the middle. I have all of my to-dos on my work side. And then I have all of my to-dos on my personal side. And I block in my personal side, block me time and family time. And the things that I want to do for me personally and the things that I want to do for my kids go on there, and the things that I need to do for my family and my husband and my dog and my friends, they all go on that side of the sheet. And I do this every single Sunday. And then I take that list and I allocate those tasks to days of the week. And I fill in my schedules with my appointments. And then I put in these tasks, these lists. And if you fall on the more rigid side of planning, you might allocate those tasks to a specific day of the week and a specific time of the week. And if you're not as rigid, you might just want to pick 3 tasks and allocate 3 tasks, 3 priorities to each day. And if you aren't making time for self-care, if that is not part, if you do not have a routine, then you need to put it every single day on your planner, right? And I don't care if you allocate a time for it or you just put it as a task or a priority, but I promise you it's game changing, okay? The other thing, when you put this on your planner, on your schedule, when you get to it, when it's time to actually do it, you may not want to, right? Like if you put this workout on your calendar at 3:00 on Monday, you might just write right next to it. You might not want to do this, but you're going to. Did you know that wanting to do something wasn't a requirement for actually doing it? So when I put something on my calendar, I honor it. I honor it. It's a no matter what type of commitment. If it goes there, I do it. And sometimes I do write, you're not going to want to do this. When I have write 300 words for my book, I might not want to do it. And I put that, you're not going to want to do this, girl, but you're going to do it and you're going to feel so much better after you do it. And there is a difference between having a reason or an excuse. If my kiddo needs to be picked up from school because of an emergency, that's a reason. If I need to do laundry or the dishes, that's an excuse. You know the difference. True emergencies are few and far between. So I want you to really think about these excuses and commit to your schedule. Honor it. Be integrous with it. It's your word, after all. The last thing, if you do this process, if you schedule your days and your weeks with what matters, including and especially your self-care, and it's way too full, it is because of what I'm going to talk to you about now. People pleasing. Saying yes when you don't want to. The remedy for people pleasing is telling the truth. And you know if you are people pleasing if you're not telling the truth. Am I telling the truth? If I can't have a good attitude about it, my answer is no. And I know this is a limitation on me, and it's okay because I've said yes to so many things that I have regretted. Where are you saying yes when you want to say no? And there's a difference between a serving yes and a people-pleasing yes. A serving yes has a warm, excited, and amazing feeling to it. A people-pleasing yes feels heavy. It feels not in alignment. It feels resentful. And the beautiful thing is that you can honor the both of you way better when you tell the truth. You honor yourself by being honest, and you honor the person that is making the ask with the truth. Everyone is deserving of it. And I think we don't do this because we're not very well versed in telling the whole truth. We think it's a single word like nope or sorry, can't. But the whole truth requires more words. The whole truth looks like this. I don't know how to tell you this. I'm kind of scared to bring this up because I don't want you to be mad at me, but here it is. Or I really wish I could do this thing. I just know that if I do it, it will be at the expense of this thing. The truth is always the kindest thing. And we can always do thought work around wanting to, that's available. But when it's not available, can you just immediately answer with a no? And then you get to justify that no and turn it around, as opposed to what we normally do with is yes, and then try to figure out how we're going to back out of it. And backing out of something never feels great. So we just do it reluctantly, resentfully. So what if our just hardwired response to was, no, I'm going to think about it. And then really, really consciously think about it. And one trick is to decide ahead of time what you know you want in your life and what you know you don't. And you've got some non-negotiables about what you will do and what you won't do. You need to figure out where no needs to be honored. You might need to go to self-care and decide if everyone in the family is getting self-care or if it is skewed. In our family, no one can be involved in any more things than I have the capacity for, because my self-care is not getting altered so that I can run more people around to more things that fill up their bucket. All of us matter. And if we don't have the time and if we don't have the money, then we have to cut something out. And you get to decide what any and all of this means for you. Self-care matters. Using your conscious brain and mapping out your plan to unbusy your life and create an amazing one matters. And saying no is the best gift that you can give yourself. All three of these things will help you unbusy your life so that it frees you up to spend the time, to have the time to allocate to what matters. I never want you to say or wake up to another morning where you're like frantic, feeling busy and overwhelmed. You don't have to. You get to create your schedule. That's a choice that you get to make every single day. I hope you'll choose it. I also hope that you've enjoyed this today. And if anyone in your life feels busy or is struggling with the overwhelm that busy imparts on us, maybe you forward this onto them. Busy feels awful. It feels frantic and it isn't necessary. So let's all work the rest of this month and to finish out this year unbusying our life to make time for what really, really matters. Who's with me? Have an amazing weekend, everybody. Live lighter, be vulnerable, love harder, unbusy your overwhelm. And I will see you next Friday, same time. Take care. See you soon. Bye. You have been listening to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Roling, where I share big ideas to inspire, impact, and influence your life. Tune in every Friday at 11 Central on transformationtalkradio.com for your morning cup of coffee, the hug you never want to end, and that inspirational message that you felt was written just for you. Each show is inspiring you to become you with purpose and intention. For more information or to connect with me, visit www.leahroling.com.